Thank you for listening to today's episode of Medical Device Global Market Access by Pure Global. Today, we are turning our attention to India, a market undergoing a significant regulatory transformation. On August 7, 2026, India's Ministry of Health circulated a new draft bill for inter-ministry feedback that promises to reshape the landscape for medical device manufacturers. This proposed legislation, the Drugs, Medical Devices and Cosmetics Bill 2026, is set to replace the Foundational Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940, a law that has governed the sector for over 80 years. For decades, medical devices in India have been regulated under a framework originally designed for pharmaceuticals. The 1940 Act, while amended over the years, has never fully addressed the unique characteristics of medical technology, from its complex design and manufacturing processes to its distinct risk profiles and product life cycles. This has created regulatory challenges and a system that is not always aligned with global best practices. The new draft bill represents a monumental step forward, acknowledging that medical devices are not simply a subset of drugs and require their own dedicated regulatory structure to ensure patient safety and foster innovation. The most significant change proposed in the 2026 bill is the creation of a separate and distinct regulatory framework for medical devices. This move would finally untether devices from the pharmaceutical-centric provisions of the old law. By establishing a dedicated chapter or section for devices, the legislation aims to introduce regulations that are more appropriate for their technology, materials, and intended use. This separation is a critical development that manufacturers have long advocated for, as it paves the way for a more predictable, transparent, and globally harmonized regulatory environment in India. To support this new framework, the bill proposes the establishment of a Medical Devices Technical Advisory Board, or MDTAB. This body would be composed of experts with specific knowledge of medical technology and would be tasked with advising both central and state governments on technical matters. The creation of the MDTAB signifies a shift towards expert-led governance, ensuring that regulatory decisions are informed by deep technical and clinical understanding specific to medical devices, rather than being extrapolated from pharmaceutical principles. Furthermore, the draft bill is expected to grant expanded enforcement powers to the regulatory authorities, enabling more stringent oversight, inspections, and penalties for non-compliance, thereby strengthening the entire regulatory ecosystem. These proposed changes will impact every stakeholder in the Indian medical device market. This includes domestic manufacturers, importers, distributors, and foreign companies seeking to enter or maintain their presence in India. The new framework will necessitate a thorough review of existing compliance strategies, technical documentation, and quality management systems to align with the forthcoming requirements. While the bill is still in a draft stage and specific compliance deadlines have not been set, the direction of change is clear. The obligation for all affected parties is to prepare for a more rigorous and device-specific regulatory system. Given this impending shift, there are several practical actions that regulatory, quality, and market access teams should consider. First, we recommend closely monitoring the bill's legislative progress. Stay informed about public consultation periods and official announcements from the Ministry of Health to understand how the final text may evolve. Second, begin conducting an internal gap analysis. Compare where current processes and documentation against the principles of a modern, device-specific framework, anticipating alignment with global standards like ISO 13485. Third, consider engaging with in-country regulatory experts who can provide real-time intelligence and help interpret the nuances of the new legislation as it is finalized. Finally, review your product portfolio and current registrations to anticipate how they might be reclassified or reevaluated under the new system. If you need help navigating the evolving regulatory landscape in India or any other global market, we invite you to check out Pure Global. In the episode description, you will find links to our free AI-powered regulatory intelligence tools and our global device database. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.